Me. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Well, hello, salam alaikum, and welcome to Abu Dhabi. This is round one of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship. We're so glad you made it. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Send us a message where you're watching. Tell your friends, share it, because what I can tell you is that every single race of every qualifying session of this entire season will be live streamed to you. Now, I can tell you the weather here, the track temperature is 31 degrees, 41 track, 31 air, so it's hot here in Abu Dhabi. Just to put you in perspective, this is of course the Grand Prix circuit. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates. We're on an island in the Persian Gulf, and within that we're on another island, which is the Yas Island, Yas Marina circuit, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride because over there is the circuit which comes up over here. There's the jump, absolutely beautiful track, which all the drivers are talking about, just how amazing this track is. We'll try and speak to some of the drivers. Look over there, as the pre-grid gathers for the very first time this season, 8 different car brands represented, 11 nationalities of drivers, and one thing we can guarantee is we will have a brand new champion this year because Johan Kristoffersen has left the building. Let's have a look at the journey we're going to go on this year to crown our new champion. So we start here in Abu Dhabi, then we go around the world, 4 continents, the new track in Spa, Francorchamps in Belgium, and then the series finishes in South Africa at the other end of the year, all the way in November. But for now, let's have a little look around at some of the candidates to be our brand new champion for 2019. So we've got 4. We've got 2 Clios and 2 Megans represented by GCK. We've got 3 Hyundais. There's Timozyanov over there. Let's have a quick word with Kevin Hansen. Kevin, can I have a quick word with you, or are you too busy? No? Okay. That was a good start to the year. He's obviously got important things on his mind. Let's go and speak to Christian Schalbo. Christian, can we have a quick word with you, please? Welcome to the full-time World Rallycross Supercars. How are you feeling at the dawn of a brand new season?
Well, it was not according to plan. Actually, the first free practice was shorter than we expected. So it was not like my laps, but I get used to the car, kind of. Now I know the track better. So actually, it was the same for everyone. Still the same chances for everyone. So I'm quite confident still.
It's a brand new season for everyone. Lots of new cars, different cars, fewer manufacturers, but more variety of cars. You look like you're relaxed as a group of drivers. Yesterday for the photo session and autographs, quite relaxed.
I am actually, you know, I have nothing to lose. It's my first year here. There are some guys who has some pressure because they're waiting, or they expect something, or everyone expects from them something, and no one expects from me anything. Actually, so that's why I'm so relaxed, and it's actually just seems that I'm relaxed, but I'm not.
And of course, you're one car part of EKS, but I don't think Matthias Ekstrom is here, so you can do whatever you like, really.
Not really. You know, we are in, how can I say, 24/7 in contact, so
okay, all right.
he's like he's here.
Okay, good. Well, look, he's not here, but he is watching, and if you're watching, thank you very much. We're getting very excited because race 1, Q1, is about to get underway thanks to Christian Schalbo there. Let's go up to the pink commentary booth, which is all the way over there, with Dan Rook and Andrew Coley.
It doesn't look that pink from here, but I can assure you the whole of the outside of it. We're in like a little container area, which is near the fan zone. Everything's set up for a great weekend, but what we care about the most and what I think you guys care about the most at home is the racing, and that is about finally to get underway. Dan Rook, 4 months, like it's long winter.
Yeah, long time, and I'm just excited to get back into it. A lot has happened over the winter, a lot of changes, but we're going to see a new champion.
We are indeed, yeah. Johan Kristoffersen's gone. Of course, all our previous champions have gone. Matthias Ekström, Peter Solberg. So we are crowning a brand new world champion this year. I think we've only got 3 previous winners. I need to check the old stats, but Timmy Hansen, Andreas Backward and Rainis Nittich have won events. So, we're going to get new winners this year almost certainly, unless somebody can dominate. We just don't know. Everything is new, and of course one thing that is certainly new is this brand new track here at Yas Marina, or Yas Marina as I'm going to name it, because I'm so excited about getting going. So here you go, 1.2 kilometres, it's 60% asphalt, 40% dirt, anti-clockwise, with a start running down to what's going to be a very exciting turn 1 and turn 2. So very much looking forward to showing you guys basically what's going to happen through the first corners. Turn 3 a hairpin as well. I think we're going to see a lot of passing. Turn 1 and 2 are literally just over our left shoulders over here. Then it's down to the hairpin. There's some fantastic features on this track, and whenever I go anywhere, I know we work on the telly and we go, oh, looks steeper than it does on the telly. You'd think we'd know better, but there's so much more elevation change.
Yeah, of course. Coming up around as they start to come back towards us here, it's a big uphill, like off camber. Hairpin, and then they're dropping down, gaining speed up towards the jump section, and yeah, like you say, there's a lot that we didn't expect. There's a lot of tight corners as well, going to make for a lot of overtaking opportunities.
Now, if you guys at home are new to this, this is all new here for us, but if you're new to the sport, it jumps. We have jumps in Rallycross. We've got loads of cool stuff in Rallycross. If you've never seen it before, it's the start of a new season. This is how it works. So, RX Education. What is Rallycross? Well, it's kind of a mixture of rally and racing. So we have gravel, we have tarmac, as I say, we have jumps. We have 10 rounds this year to decide our champion. This is what happens in one round. 4 qualifying heats, up to 5 cars per race. The fastest 12 cars go through to the semi-finals. 6 in each, 3 go through, the bottom 3 go no further. Once you reach the final, it is a straight fight to take the top step on the podium and win round 1. Now, there are points given out actually at the qualifying stages, in the semi-finals and in the final. So usually the event winner at round 1 would take the lead in the championship. Dan, it's quite a complicated sport, but we're going to make it simple for people at home who haven't seen it. And also for these guys, if you're a proper Rallycross geek like we are, we've got loads to tell you as well. There's been, teams making changes and stuff. Yeah,
there's all sorts going on, and obviously, the point system, these guys are going to need to be scoring as high as possible in the qualifyings, try and win the semi, and then go on to win the final to get the maximum points. But it doesn't always happen like that. We don't always get those perfect weekends, and I'm sure these guys have, they've all been doing their homework over the winter. Or a few guys changed seats, everything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how those combinations work.
So there you go. The commentary box is over on the left-hand side. You can see the pink canopy just behind the grandstand. You can see the start in the distance under the gantry. So they come down towards turn 1. I wonder if we can get a closer look at turn 1 from where we are. Possibly we can't. Turn 1 is where those cars are parked at the minute, and they're having a little clear up with some drift cars out. The local drift championship was out. There we are. There's commentary. Oh, we're up at the far right-hand end. There we are. Waving. How are we doing? So they're going to come down. Turn 1, as you can see, is right in front of us, next to that pickup truck, the orange curb there. That is the first corner. Dan, it's a tight old first couple of corners. Reminds me of Hockenheim in the way that we've got a chicane and a hairpin.
Yeah, they're coming down off the start. It's slightly downhill start into this tight left-right corner, so they're going to have to really try and get the car stopped and try not to run too wide. There's some curbs there that could potentially cause a little bit of damage, so these guys are going to have to be neat and tidy in through here, take it to the hairpin, and then it's going to be a long fight down the back straight into the next section.
Indeed. Quick flick onto gravel. The chicane at the far side of the track is tight as well, isn't it? When we drove around there in the high car on the first day, about 5 miles an hour, and we nearly missed the second apex. There's a couple of corners too here which are completely blind. Yeah, so as they come into this section, as they come across the finish line, after the jump, they're running, alongside a barrier that's up as high as the cars, and they're going to have to try and judge their braking point, because they cannot see the apex from, you can see in shot here now, so you can see that they cannot see the apex for turn 1 as they come off of there, so they're going to have to, I think they've judged their braking point now, but
yeah, they've really worked hard on that.
This is the other one they can't see through, which is the chicane over at the far side of the circuit, heading out onto the F1 straight, which goes back into the other part of the track. And again, you know, you can see where the gravel started to break up. There's a lot of loose stuff on the circuit. On the right-hand side, the tyre barrier there, Timo Scheider was saying you've got to wait, and Tim Asiano as well. You've really got to wait even more than you think you have to find that second apex, because actually the straight after that is long.
Yeah, exactly. And if they run a bit too wide in that section, they'll then run wide for the left-hander afterwards, and they'll be losing speed all the way up the hill, up to the next straight. Which
is where we are now. Now, they will come in from the bottom of your picture. From the gantry you can see there across the left. The left kink before the hairpin, Tim Asiano said, is 5th gear, around 150 kilometres an hour. They then drop down the hill to the Joker lap split. So the standard lap is the jump. There's the split, you can see. So, Dan, around this Edox Swiss Watches area on the inside there, that's actually off camber to take the Joker lap, so you've got to get the nose in there.
Yeah, so they got to make sure they really get the rotation in and, you know, hug the barrier. They don't want to be running too wide, and if they come in with a bit of understeer, then they're going to end up pushing wide and not having a good run into the Joker lap here. So we're looking at the Joker split now. So the Joker is the one with the chicane on the tarmac, and the jump is the main lap here. So it's fast as they come onto the start-finish straight, just in front where the camera is now.
So you come off that jump again, 5th gear, similar sort of speed Tim was saying. See how technical the Joker is in the background, but look at smack in the middle of your shot now, along the Etihad branding and where it says hashtag Abu Dhabi RX. That's the point at which they've got to brake for turn 1, because turn 1 is literally, if we take the camera just a tiny bit to the right, you'll see the apex of turn 1. And so they've actually got to get on the anchors before they can see the corner to get it turned in.
Yeah, so as you can see in the top of the screen there, you can just make out a right-hand kink. And I was watching the guys in practice, and you can see there, that's where they've started to brake. And they've had to judge that through trial and error. And as they come around here, then they're trying to throw the balance of the car off so they can get the nose in. And here, this is apex of turn 1. So as they come in around there, they really have to keep car control and get the balance and get the nose in.
So they've got to be really careful, haven't they? These big curbs are designed specifically because every curb we've ever designed for Rallycross, everyone's driven over because that's the nature of the sport. So these actually bolt into the surface because obviously you can't leave these here for, say, bike racing or F1. And there's such a big curb with the bollard on the inside. Touching the bollard will pretty surely see you in front of the stewards. But if you're that far over the curve down, I think you're a bit brave because these are really big.
Yeah, they are big. And, you know, it's quite scary to be coming at them sideways, I'm sure. But you can see there, you know, they've been skimming the bottom of the curb. It's just low enough there for them to get the nose of the car in, but any higher than that, they're running a risk of damage.
So you can see the marshals down there clearing off the oil trail, but what you can also see is a piece of track which goes to your right. Now that is straight on after the finish line, was just out of shot to the left. When they finish, there it is, the finish line is behind the Nissan pickup truck, the straight line across. The one behind that is kind of track edge for the main lap. So where that truck's just crossed the line, that's the finish line. You can see the Joker lap comes in from the back, the standard lap from the front, and they will cross the line there flat out, and they have no intention of turning left. It is actually compulsory to go straight on, and Dan, that's going to give us some mega runs down to the finish line.
Yeah, we're going to have some good racing here. You know, the guys off the Joker lap, they're going to be carrying a bit more speed, and the guys as they come out from the standard lap as well, is they don't have to brake for that turn 1. They just maybe a bit of a lift off the throttle to get it to turn in, but it's going to be fast across the line here.
It is going to be super fast. You can see we've got 3 cars down the line. I can see those pickup trucks that have been working so hard to get the track ready to go. The pickup trucks have just headed off. You might be able to see them over our shoulders. So the pickup trucks are just going down the back straight. And I think we're just about ready to go. So Q1, obviously random draw. We're not going to see the fast guys all in together, but everyone's still got to get a job done.
Yeah, so everybody on that grid is going to want to be through these first 3 corners in first place, get themselves a clear track and try and lay the time down to get themselves a better position going forwards.
That's it. Winter is over. We're about to get going here in Abu Dhabi. Round 1 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship 2019. About to get a green light. Finally, yes, I'm fully goosebumped up and ready to go. Like, this is it. So I'm looking forward to the racing later on today when we see all the quick guys together. But what I'm loving at the minute is we don't know who the quick guys are. So we have no idea, really, the form book. You know, some of the cars are back from last year. The Volkswagens are obviously not. But Andreas Backwood, one of the first people to be back in the same car as last year. Last year, of course, he was with EKS. This year, he was with the Monster Energy RX Cartel. They've been up to some antics already. Then we've got Paltree and Oliver Bennett in the Mini. Oliver's done a load of development work over the winter. Paltree is one of several drivers who will take the second car at start. But it's Backwood here who's going to need to get the jump on the others. We're going to talk about starts and RPM and everything that was happening during free practice earlier on today, because there was some pretty interesting stuff happening, as these guys, of course, are all learning the circuit as well. You know how this works. We get a ready-to-race light, and then we're going to get a green light, and we're going to send 3 cars down, 600 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2 to turn 1. Great start, Backwood. Paltree left of the line, Bennett on the outside, and Backwood drag race down. That Mini is fast, but it's Backwood who managed to get the whole shot. Avoids the curbs completely in turn 1, and then Bennett's going to follow through turn 2. Paltree just away from the line now. Dan, that is exactly what Backwood needed.
Yeah, he took full advantage as well of Paltree not being beside him, and he was able to squeeze Ollie to get a better line into turn 1 there, so good move from Backwood.
So Backwood now heading up. Let's follow this first lap for you guys at home. We haven't seen any laps at all. Left and then right. Now very tight right. Onto the loose, get the traction down, and it's flat out down the straight. This kink coming up. 5th gear, about 145 kilometres now, then braking for the hairpin at the top of the hill. Now, interesting, we saw Bennett on social media did a bit of a viral one, a sideways, super sideways through the hairpin, but Backwood is keeping it really tight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a very wide part of track there, and if he goes out too wide, he's just going to be driving too far, not that he doesn't have to go. So keeping it tight there to get a better line.
There's turn 1 again, but from the flying lap, and that's going to give you guys a better idea when we come back around next time about how they sight it. And this is another corner down, so watching this next chicane, when you see the tyre barriers that are through it, they just cannot see through it at all to see where the exit is.
Yeah, you just have to see, you can see now how high that barrier is compared to the car, and you can hear on Backwood's car, he's just being patient with the throttle. He doesn't want to get on it too soon, or else he's just going to run himself too wide.
Backwood's got a massive advantage here, hasn't he? So he has been in his car for a year. He wasn't even really hunting for a setting this morning. He's like, I know the car, it's all good.
Yeah, that's definitely an advantage. Of course, we've seen a lot of people changing cars this year, so for Backwood to come in, and I'm sure he's now able to help his teammate Liam as well with setup and how to get used to the car. So, yeah, I think RX Cartel have got a good package this year.
They have indeed. Going to be very interesting to see what Liam Doran can do as well. Fastest lap of the day, Backwood, 44.5, and that gap growing between him and Bennett.
Yeah, definitely. Andreas is putting down the good laps here. He knows what he has to do in Q1 to get that time, and it'd be interesting to see if we see a track develop as well. We don't know how the time's going to stick, but we'll see.
Up towards that fast kink again. This is unsighted. The car is unsettled on the brakes and into the hairpin. Watch again. It's a late apex. A little bit of rotation. Maybe the handbrake in there?
Yeah, only slightly though. I mean, he doesn't want to run the car too sideways, or else he's going to end up scrubbing off too much speed. So, you know, he's keeping the car very tidy. I've noticed in turn 3 hairpin as well, he's just driving the car around. He's not letting the back hang out. He is, you know, he could even be saving some tyres for later on in the weekend.
Well, that's what we were going to talk to you about. So a number of drivers doing free practice today. They've got 12 tyres here. Fastest lap again, he's going quicker. But the temperature, track temperature, at one point yesterday was 60 degrees Celsius. We're hearing it's about 41 now, slightly overcast with a bit of a breeze. 41, I mean, it's so hot. It was so hot earlier. Anyway, some of these guys very cleverly took wets for their recce laps. Effectively, they're not going that quick, so they're not too worried about having ultimate grip. You're about to see Backwood go. Now, Backwood was one of those guys. He did 2 runs on wet tyres. I said, don't you need to chase a setup? He said, no, I know this car. He's kept brand new boots for this session. And let's see what the result of that is going to be. This is the first time of anyone in the 2019 championship. There he goes straight on over the line. Andreas Backwood with a 3:08.064. Ollie Bennett crosses the line 6.5 seconds behind. And I have to be honest, we haven't seen Paltree at all. So I don't know if he's still out there or if he maybe had an issue. No laps. Okay, so Paltree made it past the first split after having failed the start and has then withdrawn from the circuit. So Backwood wins the first race of the year. And you can hear them in the stadium. He's got a little fan club here with him this week, and they've come all the way down to the Middle East to cheer him on. Peels the car off to go back to the paddock. And here is your first result of the year. 3:08.064 is the target time for everyone else. Andreas Backwood in the car that he's so familiar with, but with a brand new livery, brand new team, brand new teammate, all new for him except for the car. Bennett in second, Paltree with a DNF. Take a look back at Q1 race 1 on the inside. Backer had got the jump on Bennett, and that was tidily done. He absolutely needed that.
Yeah, that was perfect. He got himself a car width in front of Bennett by the first corner. He was able to take his own line, and from there he kept it super tidy and just drove his race.
It's going to be different, isn't it, the tactics when we've got more than 5 cars. Yeah, the way this works is we have as many 5-car races as we can. When there's only a couple in there, Dan, it's not quite so difficult in terms of Joker lap strategy.
No, so obviously you don't have as many cars on track, not as much traffic to try and slot back into. So, you know, it's kind of up to you when you do the Joker lap. I was speaking to some of the spotters earlier, and I think the Joker lap's roughly 2.5 seconds here, and it's going to be faster to do it on the last lap due to your exit speed.
So a good start for Backerud there. I did notice that Backerud, right at the end of the race, cut the line for the apex of the Joker lap, but I'm guessing he knows what track limits are down there. There's a couple of places, obviously, when it's so wide as this, where they're going to be enforced. Like they're being enforced from turn 3 to turn 4.
Yeah, obviously it's an F1 track, so they have to have, you know, such a wide piece of tarmac for them to drive on. So, you know, coming down the back straight there is the track limits, but I think due to the nature of the entry into the Joker lap, with it being off camera as well, they're sort of allowing the guys to have a bit of leeway to cut the corner there.
Yeah, cool. So Backer with a good job, and Neil Cole is with him already. So let's hear from our first race winner of the year.
Andreas, it must feel good. First race of the year, first win of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's nice to get it started. First of all, the track here in Abu Dhabi is pretty cool, and enjoying a lot to drive here. You know, managing to pull this off together with Monster and GRX Cartel and Liam, it's really cool. So also with all the Backer Blue fans back home, been supporting me throughout the winter. It's been absolutely epic, and also now to start off the season with a heat win feels pretty damn good. So if the time is good enough, I don't know. I was a bit careful, but overall, pretty decent.
Well done, thank you.
Thanks.
So Backer happy with his run, and rightly so. Tidy, no mistakes. The question, of course, is can anyone go quicker? Here we go then, Q1 race 2. 4 drivers in this one. Gulan Shisharit back in the Renault Megane from last year. They've got a new engine, they've got new dampers. Kevin Hansen back in the car he finished the season in last year, the car that Timmy Hansen started in. It's the early evolution of the 2018 car, which they both looked very comfortable in. Timo Scheider, brand new car. His South Ibiza last year was 4 years old. This one is brand spanking new, and he was quick in practice. And Cyril Raymond stepping up, of course, from the European Championship to a full-time drive in the World Championship in the Renault Clio RS from GCK Academy. Marshall down there waiting for the thumbs up. They're going to release the cars. The drivers will be really relieved about that. I can't tell you how hot it is. It's super hot, and it will be even hotter for the guys in the cars, of course, because they don't have any airflow through there at all. Anti-lags on, the revs are up. Even start. Kevin Hansen, though, blows Shisharit away off the line. Kevin Hansen's going to get the jump on Scheider too. Scheider going to shut the door on Shisharit. Raymond trying to go around the outside, but they're all very sensible. And it's Hansen who leads from Scheider. Scheider goes out wide. Hansen's gone really defensive there in turn 3. Scheider's going to get the jump on him surely on the exit, but it's not near enough. Yeah,
I was quite surprised to see Kevin go so tight there. He seemed to have a pretty good gap behind him. I don't think he, you know, obviously it's hard to see in the mirror of these cars, so better to be safe than sorry than to get in a fight so early on.
Now, we saw Shisharit bog off the line there, and this is something we were talking about during free practice. We were up there watching, and a number of people did. The start here is downhill, but they've been having issues. Yeah, so obviously the track temperature is so hot here that they're able to get so much grip, and you know, Formula 1 tracks by nature have a lot of grip on them as well. So a lot of the guys bogging down here. Second gear starts, we think, as well for some people, so maybe they need to think about going down to first, you know. Yeah, potentially, but obviously with a first gear start and when you're running your revs quite high, you've got a lot of risk for a lot of wheel spin, and to not be able to grab that, to have the time delay where you have to grab first to second gear, it's a couple temps. So if somebody's in second off the line basically and you do a first to second start, you're going to lose out. Yeah, so pretty much the guys that start in first gear, they'll get the initial jump, and then when it comes to the gear change up to second gear, the guys that start in second will start to pull it back. Kevin Hansen up and around the hairpins, he just a puff of smoke from the middle tyres there. Sideways behind him, Scheider. Scheider looks to have very similar pace to the Peugeot, which is good news right at the start of the year, off the drop off their 5th gear, and now on the brakes. And again, there's that blind section. It just looks so hard to judge. When I was walking the track yesterday, Dan, we were saying it's really difficult to know what line was going to be optimal through there.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, a lot of these guys are still going to be finding their feet as they come through here. I'm sure there might be a few more risky moves as we come later on in the weekend where they might start to rotate the car a little bit earlier, but for now, you know, you can just see how committed they have to be through this.
Fastest lap of the day, Kevin Hansen, 44.4, so he goes a bit quicker than Backer went in the previous race. Shisharit has already jokered. Now, if you're new to Rallycross, remember, everybody has to do 1 joker lap in each race. So be that a qualifying race, semi-final, final, you have to take the alternative lap. Once Kevin Hansen goes now, Scheider goes with him. Both of them into the joker lap with a lap to go. And in the background, Raymond's come to a halt. Cyril Raymond has parked the Clio at the side of the track. His team boss goes past. Kevin Hansen and Scheider too. So Shisharit carries on. Shisharit's not far off the back. I thought the joker might be about 3 seconds, but I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, so Shisharit's been pulling the laps together after not such a good start, and you know, he's been lapping within a tenth of Kevin Hansen, so good form there from the Renault Megane.
So we know that McGann's quick over a lap down. There is still a little bit of a question mark over the start, which they had a slight issue with last year.
Yeah, so continuous development on the Megane. You know, we know they've got a new suspension and a new engine, so a lot of work's gone in over the winter, and it's time to see if they can really put that work into good use.
Yeah, it's difficult for them to load the car up with the inboard brakes. Very techie stuff for you, but inboard brakes, the brakes are up right against the differential. Kevin Hansen coming over to take the line flat out. And a 3:06.9 goes 1.1 seconds quicker than Andreas Backer did. So 3:06.9. That's going to see Kevin at the top of the timesheets. You could see a yellow flag being waved to them because Cyril Raymond managed to get the car over the jump. I guess he was probably hoping to continue. Dan Rook's pointing at the front left wheel. So look at the front left wheel of the Clio, and you can see it's pointing out. Good spot by Dan Rook. So possibly, do you think he's maybe clipped one of the barriers and pulled a tie rod off or something? Yeah,
so, you know, it looked like he came into the right-hander before the jump quite tight. Maybe he clipped it too far and caught the outside barrier.
Result of this one then, Kevin Hansen taking it from Timo Scheider, Shisharit and Cyril Raymond with a DNF. Not the start he would have wanted. Kevin Hansen slots in front of Scheider. So Scheider going faster than Backer too. I didn't spot that. So Scheider's right up. There's only a second between the Peugeot and the Seat. Backer in third, then Shisharit, Bennett, Raymond and Paltry. Take a look back then at race 2 from Q1. Kevin Hansen getting the best start by far. Scheider just putting a slight squeeze on Raymond and then on the brakes earlier and tidy through. Those two carrying a lot of speed through. You can see Raymond hurting his exits, people going wide, but Kevin's super defensive.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I mean, as you can see as he comes past, he had, you know, a couple car whips gap behind him, unless he was worried that Scheider was going to put a lunge on him. You know, we do have a lot of Robins racing in Rallycross, so anything could have happened, but you know, these two guys playing it very sensible, not getting themselves into a fight and really getting the time down.
Yeah, they need to. This is early in the season. This is super early in the season, so you need to be making sure that you get the results you want, not DNFs. In the background, I wondered if we might see Cyril Raymond, but we haven't. You can see the car parked in the background. This was the end of the race. Kevin Hansen this was prior to the end of the race, 1 lap to go, and this was Kevin Hansen coming down for an absolute flyer over the line, and the fastest time so far. Good job, Kevin Hansen, basically, and Timo Scheider in there quicker than Backer too. Now, Backer did say he wasn't pushing too hard, and there's an element possibly of tyre management in there because it's so hot. Either way, you know, we've got a Peugeot, a Seat, and the Audi, which are super close together. In fact, Neil Cole has already managed to get hold of Kevin Hansen in the Peugeot. So let's go down now and hear from Kevin.
Kevin, it's very, very hot in this cockpit. Talk us through that lap. It was a very good time.
Yeah, I think it was a nice clean run. I didn't want to do anything stressed or any stupid mistakes, so I went on the bit the safe side. I just want to run through the first heat of Team Hansen MEP, and what the start to this team. I love it.
And talk us through, you look like you had a lot of pressure from Timo behind. He kept pushing you. What was the difference between the Joker and the standard lap?
I saw Timo behind all the time, but my spotter said, okay, you're pulling away enough all the time, so keep this rhythm, and I did. So I think the car was flying, and I feel really comfortable. So yeah, a good start to the weekend, a good start to this year also.
And talk us through the tyre situation. Did you feel like you were losing grip towards the end, or is it all good?
I think I was managing okay. That it's very hot, as you say, a bit cooler at least than yesterday, but in this car, if you felt at home, you would be dying. It's hotter than a sauna in Finland.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Hotter than a sauna in Finland, apparently. It's, yeah, well, right now, I'm inclined to agree with him, basically. We just need some of those leaves and stuff, don't we? And maybe some vodka if we're in Finland. Yeah, no offence, Finland. I was working with some Finns last weekend. They do like a sauna. Very witty guys. Right, we're waiting on the next set of cars being dragged up to the line. The reason we're waiting is they are trying to recover. I think it looks like we've got a JCB down where Cyril Raymond's Renault Clio is. I wonder if they're going to try and lift it, that would support your theory, Dan, that the suspension is broken, because truck over there to tow the car away, but not going to happen if the wheel's hanging off. Kevin Hampton.
Every race, you know, they come in and they have a weight limit that they have, a minimum weight that they're allowed to be. I believe it's 1,300 kilos for the supercars. That's with car and driver. So after every race, these guys will come in, the scrutineers will pull them in, do a weight check, you know, make sure there's, these guys are going to be as close to the limit as possible.
We're going to take a little look back at some of Kevin in action on that last one. So this brand new track, but in a car that he knows pretty well. So this was him off the start. Shisha, I say, definitely didn't get the start right, but Kevin got it absolutely. Either that car is a rocket ship or he got the start bang on.
Yeah, we saw last year the Peugeots were, you know, getting good starts, and you know, I think he had his revs and clutch control there dialed. You know, he didn't have any wheel spin or anything off the line. He just shot and went.
Now, nice advantage for Timmy, of course, his older brother, is that Timmy is yet to come. So these guys, family team, there's definitely communication between the two cars. At the minute, I'd say everybody in every team will be communicating. Cyril Raymond moving in the background, Kevin coming through the Joker. You can see that quick it is off the Joker. That was Cyril parking the car. So he will pass that back to Timmy, and I would expect Timmy to get a mega start too.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that. They'll have the same settings on these cars as each other, so they'll set the same RPM for the start, and you know, we should see Timmy get away just the same.
There we go. Finally, Cyril Raymond's car being removed from the circuit. Unlucky, 113. Let's hope that's some of his season's bad luck out of the way. We'll find out for you what happened to that car and bring you the news later. Remember, you'll be able to watch every qualifying session live on Facebook and YouTube. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you think is going to be the next world champion. The new world champion, definitely crowning a new one. So we've had 5. Petter was a double champion. Ekstrom a single champion. Johan Kristoffersson a double champion. Johan, we wish you the best of luck this year in WTCR. But we're going to have a new world champion here in the World Rallycross Championship. Could it be one of these guys? Reinis Nitti's second from your right was fastest in free practice. So we know the Hyundai's quick. Having said that, we weren't quite sure who was doing what in terms of tyres and who was saving themselves and saving their boots for the racing. Now, Dan, they might have all misjudged this, and it could be that the tyres are well capable of doing all the racing and it's no problem. But when you go to a new circuit and you don't have data, everything helps, and they're going to the nth degree to try to one-up the opposition.
Of course, yeah. There's so many unknown factors here, and you know, it might be okay. We've got some fast corners here, but we've also got some quite slow-speed ones. So they'll be taking data all the time in terms of, you know, tyre pressures and everything after the races. So they'll be gathering all of that.
Every tiny bit of analysis. There goes Kevin Hansen. He's not heading off to the iconic Yas Marina Hotel. He's heading up to refuel, which actually you can see in the tent, which is just in the distance. So Kevin Hansen's car probably being driven by one of the mechanics up to refuel. As we see the grid being formed up. Who's missing from the middle? Is it De Ridder? Guillaume De Ridder is missing from the middle of the grid at the minute, and I can't see him in the pre-grid area either. So Guillaume De Ridder on his debut in the FIA World Rallycross Championship, possibly missing from the grid in race 3. Looks like he is. He's not there, and they're about to call it. Markland lines up on the outside. So Timazyanov on the inside. Reinis Nitti's his teammate next to him. Then we have a gap in the middle where Guillaume De Ridder should be. It's Christian Szabo and Anton Markland. Markland, of course, we know is an absolute weapon. Last year, he was at the top of the second in the European Supercar Championship. He won it the year before. Nitti's, of course, on the right-hand side, he agreed the champion. But Szabo came out for a couple of runs last year and was really, really fast in that Audi. He's got Rolf Volland here from the Super 1600 team he was driving for before, offering him some advice because Matthias Ekstrom isn't here this weekend. That car run by EKS. But a shame for De Ridder. He was so excited this morning, and unfortunately he's going to miss his first run in the World Rallycross Championship. Here we go then, revs up. Teammates on the inside will surely be sensible. Green light, great start. Timozyanov, Nitish too, but Szarbo's going to drag them down to turn one. This is going to be interesting. Markland trying to go around the outside. Markland gets them all. Round the outside, great move. Anton Markland, whole shot from the outside of the grid. That was fantastic.
Yeah, awesome move there. Obviously, because he's so far out the outside, he's able to, keep the flow of the car going through the corner. He doesn't have to tighten it up as much. And
Szarbo's going to look at the inside of Timozyanov. Sorry, Danny doesn't do it though. Szarbo's been mugged there and is a long way back from where he would like to be.
Yeah, so bad news there for Szarbo. It was a tight couple corners, and it just goes to show what this new Abu Dhabi circuit can really deliver.
Really impressed with Markland. We know he's been working on getting the car to turn in better over the winter. That turned in properly from the outside, didn't it?
Well, that was perfect. And you can see as he went into turn 3 as well, he was hugging that white line to be defensive on the way in.
Nitish and Szarbo have gone joker lap 1, so Szarbo, from a bad position off the start, has gone straight to the joker lap. Rainis Nitish has gone with him. Now they have to try and catch up. It's not much of a difference between the joker lap and the standard lap, is it?
No, it's not too much, and obviously because he got such a fast exit with the tarmac corners of the joker lap that they're able to gain on the way into turn 1.
Yeah, and they don't have the gravel braking zone either from the last corner to the first corner, do they? So the joker lap offering some pace on the exit, definitely. We haven't figured out yet whether it's good to take it early or late in the race. But Anton Markland leading from Timozyanov. Are they going to go defensive now? I kind of think I probably would, Dan, looking at how tight it is and knowing how quick Nitish and Cora. I might go joker early and defend, but he doesn't. Markland stays out, Timozyanov goes in.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the GCK boys trying to stretch out the gap and take full advantage of the clear air in front of them.
Timozyanov round the outside of his teammate on the way to turn 1. How close was that, the merge? Super close. Timozyanov backs it in from the standard lap from the joker lap on the tarmac. Fantastic.
These guys are going to be relying so heavily. Oh,
Szarbo's got Nitish, so has Nitish got a problem?
I think maybe front right puncher, he couldn't get the car turned in there, so maybe he's clipped one of these big orange curves we have.
So Nitish, is he struggling on the back straight to get the car turned in? He is. Rainis Nitish has a problem at the back, so Rainis Nitish, the reigning European Rallycross champion, has a problem. Anton Markland, though, he's leading. Markland through the left-hander. He will now have to split right, take the choke lap. Sorry, one more lap to go, so Markland's going to take it on the final lap. Timozyanov and co. got to chase him down as hard as they can. Szarbo from the dust. Nitish still circulating.
Yeah, and bad luck there for Nitish. Of course, his return to the World RX Championship with a new car, a new team, and he was fastest in practice, and you can really see he's struggling to turn it in there on the blind.
It is the front right corner which is down. He's just come past the commentary box. We can see from here that the front right tyre is down. No such problem for Anton Markland. Markland rotates the car through that tight chicane on the far side. Hammer down now. 5th gear around this next left-hand. A little bit of brakes, then balance the car on the way in. He'll nip on the handbrake and then watch for the line through the joker lap. How much curb will he dare to take? Down the hill, tight. This one's off camber. Keeps it tidy. Now watch here on the brakes. In towards the curb on the right. Wait. Now on the gas. Full commitment on the gas. Timozyanov on the inside. Markland on the outside. It's going to be fast and close to the finish, but Markland takes it. Timozyanov second, Szarbo third. Less than 2 seconds in between them, but Markland can't match the pace of Kevin Hansen. Kevin Hansen is still in front. Markland with a 3:08.1. He's going to put him just behind the pace of Andreas Backerud. Rainis Nitish brings the car round to the finish. With that puncture, he loses out, but of course it's better to get a finish than it is to get a DNF, so good job from Nitish. And the sun is really low now in the commentary box, and it is really hot. I can't even... How hot is it on track, Dan? Really, like in the cars?
Oh, these guys, I'm sure the adrenaline's going to take over whilst they're driving, but then as soon as these guys finish, the adrenaline starts to die down, and they are going to feel the heat now on the way in. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some doors flapping on the way through.
Anton Markland takes it with a 3:08.1 from Timozyanov, Szarbo and Nitish. De Ridder with a DNS. And there's where they slot in. So Markland and Timozyanov look at P4 and P5. At the minute, we've got 5 cars there within 2 seconds of each other. But I have to say, Kevin Hansen is looking really good on a 3:06.9, as is Scheider in P2. So what we've got, Peugeot, Seat, Audi, Renault, Hyundai. 5 different manufacturer cars in the top 5. Of course, no manufacturer teams here this year, and that means it is super close between all these guys. And Dan, you said it. Yeah, the door's open, waving to the crowd. No, he's not. He's absolutely boiling.
He's scooping his hand there, trying to suck air into the car, I should think.
Oh, there is nothing you can do either. There's absolutely nothing you can do to escape that heat until you can get out of the car. So Markland will be looking to get back and probably chuck a couple of bottles of water over his head. So here's another look then at race 3 from Q1. What a move from Markland. He could not have been any closer to Szabo, and fair play to Szabo for not tagging him. He didn't move over, I don't think, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a tyre mark across the front of Szabo's car. That was really committed from Markland. Great start.
And a lot of trust from his fellow competitors there to not be turned around on the way into turn 2.
This was the Joker split. Szabo, this must have been later into the race because Szabo went the first lap. Look how close this was. Timozyanov round the outside, on the brakes, backs it into that apex. But Nitish was already running wide at that point, and so the front right tyre had already gone on Nitish's car by the time he got there. Great drive from Markland. Kevin Hansen leads with 1 race to go.
Anton, the talk in the paddock over the last day has been that turn is very good for a wide line. Was that your strategy from the outside all the time?
Yeah, I mean, starting from P5, which seems to be what I do all the time, then you have to do 2 choices: back down and be in behind the pack, or you go around the outside. You maybe do it like we did now, or you maybe end out by the woods, but where we don't have any woods here, I guess. But no, I take a risk, and it worked. Unfortunately, there is a bit of new buttons what I'm not used to, and I didn't tune everything in perfect, so I was struggling a bit on the track, but in the end we had a heat victory, and I think P3 so far, so I'm happy. It's a good position, and we will build from this.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Markland happy with that. Fans looking to be enjoying this as well. They'll be hot too. The temperature will drop a little bit as the sun drops over the horizon, which will be in a couple of hours' time. But by the time you join us for Q2, I think we'll have the floodlights on here at Yas Marina. So the car's being pulled up to the grid. We've got a fantastic new system for getting them onto the grid. They've got LEDs on the sticks, which the marshals hold to let the drivers know how close they are to the jump start sensors. So very clever indeed. Here we go then, the grid for the final race of Q1. First round of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship. On the inside, Timmy Hansen, his brother, is currently at the top of the timesheets. Then it's Nick Gronholm, Baumanis, Bakiuska and Doran. Off the line then, Hansen's got a massive hole shot on the way down towards turn 1. Gronholm's going to slot in behind him. Baumanis is trying to look up the inside. No contact between them. Baumanis now. Bakiuska's in the side of him. So Bakiuska is dropping back though. Baumanis manages to hold on to the position. It's Timmy who's got the hole shot. So Timmy Hansen out in front. Gronholm doing well to hold on to P2. 5 cars into turn 1. We can see what we're in for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, see, was that as Liam's looking up the inside of Bakiuska there. So Liam was really trying to keep out of the carnage there. We saw a lot of tussling through the first 2 corners. He's done a good job to keep
so
clean.
Liam surely now will look to go Joker unless somebody Jokers in front of him, and this is the problem, Dan, when you've got 5 cars in a 4-lap race. If you're P5, you sometimes need to wait and see if anybody goes in front of you. Where does Bakiuska go? He goes, Liam won't. There we go.
So yeah, Liam's now got a bit of space in front of him to try and catch onto the back of Baumanis, so he's going to be pushing hard. He's going to want to be to make a good impression with the new car. So
now looking behind Timmy Hansen, seeing that Kevin is the pace setter, knowing the Peugeots were right at the front last year, Niklas Gronholm is pretty much going with him, bearing in mind that he had a lot more to deal with in turn 2 and turn 3. So the Hyundai 20, Gronholm last year, definitely the most improved driver. But Baumanis behind him as well, he's bang on the pace too.
So yeah, started Warsaw with a brand new car this year, and it seems to be proving that it's working well. But, you know, the GRX guys have done a lot of testing over the winter, I know, and we saw their speed from practice this morning. So I'm expecting big things from these guys.
Flat out over the drop-off jump, 3 cars in a row, bursting through the dust. Hansen into the left-hander, behind him Gronholm and Baumanis. They're just touching the curb, but not too much. Hansen leading into the hairpin.
Just getting the nose of the car turned in there lovely. You could see he had it under real good control, probably just using the throttle to keep the rotation going and then get it powered down when he was facing straight.
I think Timmy looked more comfortable in this car. Remember, this was the car that Timmy was in for the first half of last year. This was the car that Loeb won Belgium in last year. And I always felt that Timmy looked more comfortable in it, although possibly the second half of the year's Evolution car was a little bit quicker. I think this was the car in which he was more consistent. He goes Joker lap now, with him goes Gronholm, over the standard lap goes Baumanis. So Baumanis is waiting till the last lap. So here we go, Baumanis then coming through. Can Timmy get past him? He can't. So Timmy's up behind Balmanis, and this might affect Timmy Hansen's time. It might be his younger brother Kevin who beats him in Q1 at the first section of the year, but that's interesting to see. And he has a look up the inside of Balmanis. Balmanis, though, no defending there, really, just took his standard line.
No, he did just take the standard line, but you can see it sort of benefited him onto the straight there as he pulls a bit of a gap to Timmy, so he's able to carry a little bit more
Balmanis, though, deep on the way into the chicane, might lose out on the exit. Sideways to Timmy Hansen behind him, hoping to keep it tidy. Back onto the loose again up the hill. Really close look at the monitors here. Watch now for Balmanis to go off to the right. So Balmanis is going to go off to the right. The gap between him and Gronholm is 1.3. What's it going to be at the merge? They're going to be way out in front of him. So Balmanis drops back. Timmy Hansen takes it from Niklas Gronholm. Balmanis gets P3. Timmy with a 3:06.4. I need the time, and it's fastest. Timmy Hansen goes fastest by half a second over his brother Kevin. So Timmy Hansen in the Peugeot, the family-run Peugeot, has taken the first qualifying session of the year, and he's taken it from his brother Kevin. But Niklas Gronholm is only a 1/10 of a second off the back of Kevin. So it looks like it's what we wanted, which is super close and a few different people able to make the pace. But it is a Hansen 1-2 for the first qualifying session of the year. Timmy Hansen takes the final race of Q1 from Niklas Gronholm just by 0.6 of a second. I think Timmy would have gone slightly faster had he not found Balmanis at the Jokelat merge. Balmanis goes P3, Bakiuska 4th, Liam Doran down in 5th. So Doran a little way off the pace, certainly compared to his teammate, and then we'll find out if he had an issue or not. So Timmy Hansen takes it from Kevin Hansen. It's a 1-2 for the Hansen MJP drivers. Niklas Gronholm 3rd, Timo Scheider 4th, Andreas Backrud 5th, Markland 6th. So 2 Peugeots at the top, then it's a Hyundai, Seat, an Audi and a Renault. Timazjana in 7th, Balmanis in 8th. Back to the paddock then for Timmy. Swedish flag on the roof. Great job. Final race of Q1. Timmy Hansen with a great hole shot. In the background, though, look, Balmanis, realising he wasn't going to get around the outside of Gronholm, holds on, just manages to squeeze Bakiuska there. Bakiuska had to back out of it in turn 2, otherwise he was going to be in the rear of Gronholm. Background, then you can see Bakiuska going to look at Balmanis, but by that time, not really able to pass in that chicane, too narrow.
No, it is so tight in that chicane, and like we were saying earlier, it is a blind corner, so to try and lunge up the inside there, you've got to be a brave man.
This was Hansen taking the split off to the Joker. Of course, Balmanis had gone on the lap before. And when it all played out, in fact, Doran was in front of Bakiuska at that point and then came in 3 and a bit seconds behind him. So we didn't see what happened to Doran.
I think maybe Bakiuska's jokered in front of Liam, and then Liam jokered on the last lap and
has dropped back.
Switched back places, yeah.
There we are. Good analysis down Rook. I'm busy watching at the front. He, of course, is across all 5 cars at the same time, like the legend that he is. But, yeah, so this was the point then at the end of the race. It was indeed Liam joking on the last lap. Well done, Dan. Bakiuska managed to get that position off him. But it's Timmy Hansen who took the final race of Q1. And with that, the overall lead after Q1.
Timmy, about just under an hour ago, nobody knew what the pace of 2019 was going to be like. Did you think that you and Kevin would be topping the timesheets at the end of Q1?
No, I mean, what a start to this season in this new team. Like, we have worked, as we've said 100 times, so hard, harder than ever, to just be here and to have. This is a perfect start for the team, and to have my brother and I 1 and 2 is like I'm quite touched by the work the guys have done. That we are just here, and to get this result, it's a huge relief to know we are there. It's working. The car was fantastic this run, but it was only Q1. But I'm already very happy.
Now we've got a little bit of a chance to talk about the circuit. I know that you're hot in your overalls, but talk us through what a lap of this circuit, or a full race. Now that you've done a full race,
it's a fantastic circuit. I must say it's one of the best on the World Rallycross calendar that we have done. It's a big challenge to go fast around here. You have to be very clever through the Formula 1 section in the beginning. Then it's a difficult braking coming into this chicane after the back straight. And that hairpin in the uphill section, one of the most technical, difficult corners I've ever done. So you're coming in with really high speed, balancing the car, and you have to stand on the brakes, which makes it want to oversteer. You're just balancing on the grip all the way. And you can brake so late because of the uphill. It's a fantastic circuit to drive, and the car was great now too. I love being in this car. It's so me, you know. So,
excellent. Well, I know you've got to go. Not very much time to get it patched up, ready for Q2, so we'll let you go, but well done.
Thank you.
So, Bob, if you just swing round to me, that is the brand new Peugeot run by Team Hansen MJP, and that is the end of qualifying 1. And I think I'm going to go into the paddock, see if we can catch up on any stories in the paddock, but I'll throw you back up to Andrew Coley and Dan Rook.
Great first session, particularly for Team Hansen MJP, you know, Timmy and Kevin. So I think Timmy could have gone a little bit quicker, but it doesn't matter. He got P1. I don't think I don't think we're going, oh no, the Peugeots are super fast like last year, but obviously P1 and P2 with a real big mixture behind them, the others have got to up their game a little bit.
Yeah, but it is still fantastic to see that gap being so close. And interestingly, I was looking at the times, and Guilan Shisharit was actually set the fastest lap of Q1. So, you know, the McGanns have got potential too.
OK, so we know there's lots of people in the mix for this. Backwood, I'm sure, will be looking to respond. He says he wasn't pushing quite so hard. We know how fast that car was. Remember, at the end of the year, the Audi was right there a little bit, maybe ahead of the Peugeot. So, it's going to be fantastic. That's just one qualifying session done. So we've got a few new things for you this year. Let me tell you, one of them, first of all, is we've got a steward, a driver assistant to the steward. So Tommy Rustad, who you'll know from European and World Rallycross, is actually up with the stewards. And when they have to make a decision, Dan, Tommy is stepping in as a driver to say, right, you know, I think he did that on purpose. No, I think he lost control. I think that's going to make the stewarding decisions more consistent. And that's not to criticise the stewards. It's a really hard job.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the stewards to have an ex-driver's perspective on things, and they know how situations go in terms of when you can lose a car and when you can see that actually something did happen on purpose. So it's good for the championship, and it makes it a bit more of a leveler to have Rustad there to help liaise with the stewards. So
we've got more new stuff for you, which we'll introduce you to in a second. But, of course, you will be familiar already with the results of Q1. So let's take a look at the standings after Q1. Well, I'm trying to look at them on my big screen behind me, but here we are. There they are. So Timmy Hansen. Now, these are qualifying points. Again, if you're new to the sport, I'm going to explain it. If you're not new, sorry, you're going to have to listen for a second. So you get 50 qualifying points if you win the session, 45 for second, 42 for third. Then you can see from fourth onwards, it goes down a point at a time. So it's a real bonus if you're in the top 3, particularly if you win a session. So if Timmy Hansen were to win all 4 sessions, he would have 200, and that is how we decide the order of the top 12. So that then, it doesn't matter if the session, one session's wet and one session's dry, or how a gravel section develops, it's within each session. These are not championship points. At the end of qualifying, all they do is they give us the order for the top 16, which all get championship points, and the top 12, who you can see there at the minute. Liam Doran would go through to the semi-finals. Bennett, Nitish, Paltry and Cyril Raymond would not, along, of course, with Guillaume de Ridder, who won't be on that page as a DNS. So there are 3 more qualifying sessions to go. 1 in Q2 will be today. And then we've got Q3 and Q4 will be tomorrow before we move on to the semi-finals and the finals. So any questions, hit us on social media and we'll try to come back to you and explain things to you. Now, we've got one more new thing for you. So if you've watched for many years, you'll know that the result of Q1 determines our grids for Q2. So the 5 quickest guys go in the last race. The next 5, the second to last race. So the slowest guys, or the DNFs and the DNSs, go first. Now, if the track is developing, or Dan, if the track's wet, that can make a huge difference if you're in the first race to the last race. Yeah, because obviously as the track dries out, if you're in the last race, you've had, or 16, 17 cars driven over the top of it, and you started to dry the surface out. So if you're in the last session of a qualifying, it tends to be the quicker one. And we've got tracks like Loiac where qualifying is early in the morning, and actually it's so damp that the track develops like 15, 20 seconds. So we wanted to mix that up a bit this year. For Q2 and Q3, we will randomise the grid and we'll find out whether we run them in the standard order or in reverse order, meaning the fast guys go first. It only happens in Q2 and Q3. Q4 will always be the fastest guys first. So let's take a look at this. It's the first time we've ever done this, so we're going to do it live, obviously. Have a look at this and we'll figure out. Here's our randomiser. We'll find out whether or not it is standard or reversed. S and F, I need just a quick explanation of exactly which one of those is correct, I guess. Okay, so fast and slow. So is it fastest first if we get the F? So it is fastest first. There we go. So I've seen that for the first time as you've seen it. Fastest will go first. So we're going to go with the guys who were quickest. So you're going to see the Hansens and all the others will be going first. So we're going to see some 5-car races first. And obviously if the track cleaned up, then it would make a difference to the guys who ran later. I'm not sure we're going to see the track conditions changing too much here. No.
Consistent as we've seen so far. I mean, where like the loose surface has brushed off, but once it gets down to that, it seems to be quite hardcore underneath.
So maybe this won't make too much difference here, but as you can see, when the conditions are changing, when the track is drying or when the loose stuff's coming off the top, it could make a huge difference. So Q2 coming up later on today. Check social media to find out where just about it is in your local listings. It will be under floodlights, so it'll be a little bit cooler, but still very, very hot indeed. Thanks for joining us for this one, and we will see you guys later on today.